You ain't gotta like me. You ain't gotta talk to me. You ain't gotta talk to me. For real. You ain't gotta love me. You ain't gotta fight for me. No motherfucking three. Fell to the hustle, I'm in it deep. Everyday struggle, don't get no sleep. Stink like a bitch bathing in the sea. Cause I ain't took a bath and it's been a week. They used to laugh when they mentioned me. Now I got the racks, put them in my jeans. I ain't have nothing, not anything. Except this gun for my enemy. Pussy ass nigga, don't know about that hit. Relocate, drop the body in Trinity. River, nigga, my slime, my slither, and slide on a nigga infinity. They wanna kill me like Kennedy. Oh, that's a bet. Go get the check. Aim at his neck, we don't hit his feet. They hate me, they wanna get rid of me. They want war, we ready. Get them ARs, then we steppin'. Slept in my car, they didn't help me. I think the Lord need a blessing. Stick to the code when they catch me. I never fold, I won't let me. Say they don't like me, I'm reckless. Well, I can't help but to tell them. Nigga, you ain't gotta like me, I like myself. You ain't gotta love me, I love myself. You ain't gotta fight for me, I'ma fight for myself. Walked 100 miles in these shoes, you should've seen how I felt. Yeah.
Yo. What's good, guys? This is a special episode because this episode I'm going to talk about my depression and my struggles with it and how I fight to control it and just be better at dealing with it. Guess we're just gonna jump right into it. It took me a minute to really do this episode because it's deep. It's a deep episode because it's personal. I feel like I did 2 episodes already and didn't really tell the people who I was or really introduce the people to myself, so to say. And I figured what better way to introduce the people to myself than to, talk about something that is pretty much pushed on, like swept under the rug, or just completely ignored in the Black Melanite community. So I figure, as I tell people, I can talk about other people's experiences, but I only gain knowledge through other people's experiences. I can only gain wisdom through my own. So I try to use my own experiences as the best teachers when I discuss anything, especially when doing these videos. So to jump right into it, a lot of people may know me from YouTube, being on Queen's Live or her chats, Neighborhood Rock or Rocka. Shout out to Queen, so y'all go follow her. A Walk with the Ancestors. Make sure you follow her and the family. And then some people just know me in life, and some of you guys don't know me at all. So it's another reason why this episode is very special, because in all, outside of the people that know me personally, nobody knows me outside of the surface me. So this is a very deep thing, which is why it took so long for the mental preparation for this episode. The depression is a real thing, and I know in our community we like to ignore it, or we like to look past it as if we as Black people, or we as Melanite people, don't deal with this situation, when in all reality we probably are the race that deals with it the strongest. So to just touch base on my experiences, I've suffered from depression for a very long time. At this point, I'm probably about 2 decades in. I'm probably about 15 years into realizing what it actually was, what it actually is. For those who don't know what depression is, depression is it is a mental illness. I believe in the dictionary term is severe mental depotency and dejection. But just to break it down, is a mental illness that causes you to have severe negative thoughts, mostly about yourself, even down to suicide. I've been as low as thinking about suicide. I don't ever want to be that low again, but it's something that once you start to experience what I call an episode of depression, it starts to take a toll on you mentally. And what it would do is it will cause you to mentally beat yourself up. You would think about only negative things. Some of the things you think about are why are you here? Would life be better if you wasn't here? You're not doing anything for anybody. All you're doing is being a burden, and so on and so forth. It's it causes you to detach from reality, detach from humanity, detach from people. You will find yourself by yourself a lot, and even when around people, your attitude is pretty negative, your energy is draining. You will cause the people around you to not want to be around you naturally because your frequency is so low. You're just a miserable person, period. You're a miserable person, and these are the things I've suffered from. You know what I mean? I've pushed people away because of my depression, and mainly a lot of the times come from not talking about it and not being honest about it, until you actually get close to people. Me trying to be honest, trying to be an honest person, once I really start to get close to somebody, especially within a relationship, I try to express what I'm dealing with. And that's not always an easy thing neither, because regardless of how people feel about you, it's depression is almost like a contagiousness, or people look at it as a contagiousness, like, you know what I mean? So naturally, not always meaning to, people treat you like you're contagious. They don't want to be around you. They don't always want to be around you. They don't always want to deal with you, because they never know when you're going through one of your episodes. Recently, I've been through a really, really bad episode where it was to the point that I couldn't hide it. I'm usually great at doing that, but I couldn't hide it recently, and because of that, it caused me to fuck up a lot of shit, a lot of great things, and push a lot of great people away, just to a point, which also caused me to really deal with the situation. Um, I can't say over the last 2 decades I've dealt with it in my own way by myself, because like I said, most people do not know that I suffer. Well, up until this video, most people do not know that I suffer from this mental illness, because I've kept it a secret, because I guess you could say I was afraid of judgment and afraid to lose people because of it. It's not fun. It gets to the point where it not only mentally weighs on you, but it begins to physically weigh on you. I I've gone days without eating, not even realize that I haven't eaten. I've gone days either constantly moving because of my depression, because I don't want to sit in negative thoughts, but even just moving around, I can't detach my thoughts from myself. So the negative thoughts are still there when going through an episode. I've also gone through episodes where there's times I just don't leave my house or even don't leave my room, which again causes me not to eat or barely drink anything, even water. So, and when you're dealing with it, well, when I'm dealing with it, when I was dealing with it by myself, I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't tell anybody. So when people are asking me, am I okay? I want to say no. Honestly, I want to say no. I'm not okay. I need help. But the complete opposite comes out because you hide. You hide yourself. You hide who you really are because again, like I said, being afraid of judgment and being afraid to cause the little bit of people you do have around you to fall back and not want to deal with you. Due to my last episode, which was a very, very, very low episode for me, very bad episode. I was very, very low in my depression, to the point where I couldn't hide it. It was very noticeable, and I fucked up so much that it caused me to really face the reality that this is what I'm dealing with. And for about 2 weeks after I had to face that reality, I couldn't even say the word depression without crying. And for a minute, I felt like I was being forced to deal with it on my own, but I wasn't. I had to realize that I wasn't being punished. I was learning, and spirit was making me face what I was going through. And sometimes you do have to be sat down. You do have to, and my ass had to be sat down because I was doing a lot. I was doing a whole lot and not doing what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. Um, so I had to be sat down and really deal and face with what I was going through. I can say that after the last month and a half, I'm way better, way better than what I was. In a way better place, just mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and which is why I've gotten to the point that I can actually talk about it and not just talk about it out loud, but talk about it on a video, and hopefully this can help people deal with what they're going through. I began to write more. I know a lot of, if you're anything like me, verbalizing things are not always best. Verbalizing things are not always our best attributes. Me, I'm a way better writer than I am a socialist, so to say. Like, I can't always verbalize my feelings out loud, but you give me a pen and paper and I could write you some shit. You know what I mean? So I've begun to write more, a whole lot more. Music has always been my escape. So I began to just post certain songs that mean something or anything that comes to mind and listen to them a lot. I really began to step into myself spiritually, mentally, physically. Just gaining a new love for yourself, really seeing yourself for who you are, accepting yourself for who you are. And that was my biggest thing. And I think that's why my depression affected me the most, because I had a hard time accepting what I was going through and who I was as a person, and that I was going through this as a person. And to be honest, I did blame a lot of people for this, and it's nobody's fault. so to say, is I accepted the fact that regardless of who or what hurt me, I won't. I won't hurt me anymore. And that's where I think a lot of my depression came from. Because not only did people hurt me, but I hurt myself by allowing people to hurt me, or by allowing myself to stay in that those hurt emotions or in those moments for longer than I needed to. And also a lot of my depression came from not speaking up for myself, allowing myself to be bullied, so to say, not standing in my own grounds and standing up for myself. And over the last 5 years, I've worked on that a lot. I lied. Over the last 7 years, I've worked on that a lot. Just really stepping into myself and standing up for myself. And I must say, over the last 7 months, I've really put that into play. And so me falling into one of my episodes came from, well, one of my depression episodes came from just not being where I wanted to be personally, and seeing the things that I didn't like. I didn't like for myself. And I took it hard. I beat myself up about it. People don't understand. With me, I'm a go-getter. If I ask, which I rarely do, but if I ask somebody for help, or I ask somebody to do something for me, and it's either they don't do it or they can't give me the help or whatever the case may be, I just go out and get it. But 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna go out and get it first anyway, or try to get it first anyway. So if I'm asking for help, it's because I couldn't do it myself, or I couldn't do it by myself. So when it got to a point where I wasn't where I wanted to be, and my girlfriend at the time was just, she basically was taking care of me, and it was doing something for me, to me. It was eating me up. It was fucking murdering me in the inside. I mean, people don't understand, like, when your girl gotta pay for your food, or she gotta pay for your fucking drawers or some shit, like, yo, that shit is hurtful. And it made me feel less of myself. So in that sense, it pushed me into my depression. It pushed me into an episode of my depression that began to get so low. I began to get so low within that depression that I was affecting not just her, but everybody around us. And that's unacceptable. And when I came out of it, and when I began to come into myself, and like I said, coming into myself and coming out of that depression, it wasn't easy at all. It took a lot of self-checking. I had to check myself in so many damn ways, almost piece by piece. I had to break myself down piece by piece, and I mean, take it back to just childhood, and really put that young me, that young me in the inside, that scared little me in the inside, to rest, and tell her, which I got that tip, shout out to my cousin Sheila, because I got that tip from her, telling her that I got her. Even when she felt like nobody else had her, I got her, and I would never lose her again. You know what I mean? And just reconnecting with yourself spiritually, mentally, physically. You know what I mean? Accepting, like I said, accepting who you are from the inside out. And when I began to really step back into that realm of me and reconnect with me, I had to dish out a lot of apologies. And genuine apologies. I had to understand what I was apologizing for and why I was apologizing for, because what people fail to realize is when you go through these episodes of depression, you don't realize the people that you're actually hurting around you, because you don't even realize you're hurting yourself. So in all reality, when you're going through these episodes of depression, you don't give a fuck about yourself, so you don't give a fuck about the people around you until it's too late. And I had to really fight, because I don't want to get to that point where it's too late, where I can't apologize, where I can't unburn those bridges, or whatever the case may be. So I had to really check myself in so many fucking ways, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I've gotten to this point, and I know this is gonna be a fight. This is not something you can just wake up from on a fucking Monday or Tuesday and say, well, it's all over, because it's not. It's gonna be a fight for a very long time. And my biggest attribute to this fight is just constantly reminding myself of who I am. And who I am is greatness. You know what I mean? Like, I can be conceited sometimes, but my conceitedness, that little bit of conceitedness, comes from a lot of fucking confidence that at one point in life I didn't have, which also added to my depression. I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. I didn't have a lot of confidence in my mental abilities. I didn't have a lot of confidence in my physical abilities. And both of those things were causes of just being treated a certain way by certain people, or being told certain things at a certain age by certain people, that I had to break myself out of telling myself. There's nothing about me that's stupid, and in all reality, I have a very, very, very high IQ, and that's just that's just constantly doing mental tests with myself. Like, one of my favorite things to do is read, and I realized that when I started stepping away from books, and when I started stepping away from self-education, um, that played a lot into my depression as well, and my mental illness in general. Um, and I think that comes with it too, just facing the fact that depression is a mental illness. And I think in our community we have a hard time dealing with those two words, mental illness, because it's frowned upon almost in our community. People treat you different when they think you're sick or mentally sick. And I wanted to make this episode to let people know that just because you suffer from depression, or you suffer from this mental illness, there's nothing wrong with you. You can always get help for it, and you can always do little things to help yourself. Like I said, I write, or I listen to music, or I have begun to talk. um I have begun to trust people uh with my thoughts and with my feelings, and that's not always hard. But you have to realize too, in certain instances, in certain moments and points of your life, that spirit, or whoever you pray to, or whatever you believe in, certain people are not going to be put there for no reason. Sometimes strangers come along, and for some reason you don't know why, but you just express some of your deepest, darkest fucking thoughts to these people, and you probably never see them again. Trust me, I've been there. I'm a truck driver. So I've been at a point where I met a fellow truck driver, and for some reason I expressed to him one of my darkest feelings, darkest, deepest thoughts or memories. And I don't know why, but I needed it, because I needed, one, to heal myself, two, to cry. And I needed to get it out. And I've never seen that man again. But I will always be grateful that Spirit put him there with no judgment for me to be able to do that, because I wouldn't have did that with somebody that I probably known, because I'm afraid of the judgment, because a lot of the judgment come from the people you know. So me understanding what I go through and what I suffer from, I try to uh, make my space, people that enter my space, very comfortable and non-judgmental. I try not to judge anyone, because I understand my own trials and tribulations, my own fight within life, and sometimes people just need an outlet. So one of the ways that I begin to deal with my depression is being an outlet for others, allowing people to have that freedom of speech, or that freedom, just that space, that free space to come in and be themselves and be comfortable. I try to make my space as comfortable as possible, and in order to do that, I have to be right with myself, so to say. I have to be able to control my own emotions and control what I go through. And like I said, in this last month and a half, I must say that I've grown a lot. And not even the whole month and a half, I can't just say in the last 3 weeks, I've grown to a point that even shocked myself, because I was so determined to get out of the space that I was in mentally. I was so determined to get out of the space I was in emotionally. And I was even more determined to just pick up with my life and move on, and get back into a happiness that I once known, but better. So the things that I do to deal with my depression, one, I have replaced, I do this thing where I replace every negative thought with 3 positive thoughts. And I work on my smile, work on looking at myself and talking to myself in the mirror, and telling myself that I'm beautiful because I am, from the inside out, and believing it because I am from the inside out. I work on just doing the things that I love to do, whether it's playing video games, or listening to music, or just laughing, or making myself laugh, whatever the case may be. Any positive things that I can find that makes me feel good inside, I just go for it. I live my life now without question, so to say. Like, I do whatever I want, because I want to do it, and not because somebody else wants me to do it, or not because I think it might be cool to somebody else. I just I live how I want to live. I do the things that I want to do. I speak how I want to speak. I'm honest with myself first, and then with other people. You know what I mean? And all these things play a great attribute to keeping this mental illness in control. Um, it's a fight. It's always going to be a fight. As I said, I don't always have great days. Actually, yesterday was probably the first day in a long time that my day wasn't so great. But by the end of the day, you best believe I got myself the fuck up out of that mood, out of that feeling. And even during those heavy moments that I had yesterday, I still did my best to keep my thoughts positive, even though my heart was heavy. You know what I mean? And understanding it, just not being afraid to reach out to somebody and tell them, like, hey, my heart's kind of heavy because I'm confused about this, or I don't understand this, and it's kind of bothering me. And not really saying, hey, can you help me, but in my own way saying, hey, can you help me? And I have people in those places that was able to help, even if they didn't know they was helping. And I immediately was able to, like, it's almost like switching a light shift where I pick myself back up and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we can't stay here long. We got a mission, and my mission is to be the best me that I can be a better me that I can be, constantly work on my healing mentally, internally, physically, and spiritually. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just not in those necessary, not in that order necessarily, but just constantly working on myself and being the greatness that I know I am. Um, Other than that, all I can say is I'm always here for anybody that may be suffering or think they're suffering from depression. We are stronger in numbers, so I don't want anybody to feel like they're by themselves when dealing with this, because I know what that could feel like, because I've dealt with it so long, not speaking about it and going through my days smiling, laughing, joking, but in the inside, I'm empty. I don't feel anything, or I'm broken, or I feel broken. And or the minute I walk away from people, I have tears in my eyes and I have no reason. I have I have no specific reason why, because there's so many that can contribute to the tears. You know what I mean? So now when I have tears, they're all happy tears. I literally wake up and smile, and I mean smile from the deepest darkest depths of my soul, because I'm that fucking happy with myself. And that's, to me, is the biggest fight against this mental illness, um, is finding yourself happiness, finding a reason to be happy with yourself. I have many reasons to be happy with myself, and they don't all come from physically. Um, I just genuinely have gained a new love for myself, and I express that more and more every day, like, you know what I mean? So I know it's people at this point that's probably aggravated with me on social media because I've posted so many selfies or self videos or whatever within the last few days, um of myself. But it's just within the last few days, I've gained even more um of a self-respect, and a newer self-love, a better self-love. I've just become better all the way around. And I want everybody to share this. I want to share this with everyone, and I want everyone to see it, because I want everybody to have this type of feeling for themselves. You know what I mean? And I'm a person that uh, I didn't take a lot of pictures, and I didn't always want to put myself out there, so to say, or be seen, so to say. But I'm just at this point in life now, um, where I don't want to be super seen, but I love to see myself. So I make me happy. So if posting a picture because I know I can go back and look at it makes me happy, then that's what I'm gonna do. And that's another big way of working and dealing with the struggles of depression, is doing the things that make you smile, doing the things that make you happy, doing the things that genuinely make you feel good from the inside out. Because can't nobody bring you happiness like you can bring yourself. um and I've learned that any happiness outside of you is always short-lived. It's always temporary. But self-happiness, being truly and genuinely happy within yourself, is forever. And even when I'm having moments, or I'm having one of my days where I'm not always upbeat, or I feel a little exhausted, or I feel a little weary, I'm still happy. So I still find reasons to smile. I still find reasons to laugh and listen to music, or pick up the pen and write, and just do things that will keep me in a position where I won't ever reach an episode. You know what I mean? Like I said, because it is a mental illness, it is something that is a fight. It is something that you have to continue to fight, and you're not always gonna have the greatest days, but you try to make your great days and your best days outweigh the bad days. And so far, I've been doing a great job at that. So hopefully that this video, this episode will help anybody. And you know, if you need more elaboration or anything, you know, don't be afraid to jump in the comments and ask for a part 2. Like I said, hopefully this helped you guys, and I love you guys deeply. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace. I'm focused on focusing so I can stay calm enough to focus my thoughts. This smoker shit raw. So much going on, wish I could cope with it all. On some sober shit. Pause. Not saying I'm addicted, I'm just blowing shit off. Speaking of blowing shit off, I've been burning bridges and fucking up interactions because I'm too afraid of judgment to talk about what's really happening. So I think I'm getting weighed by cracking jokes and laughing, but the people who are around you can feel your pain and know you capping.